Karen reported me for feeding stray cats, then accidentally went viral for playing with that famous cat. Part 1. The calm before the meow storm. I live in the kind of neighborhood where people name their dogs after wine and organize competitive pumpkin carving in October. The sidewalks are power washed, the driveways are Pinterest-worthy, and the unofficial neighborhood motto is, don't make waves, and definitely don't feed stray animals. My name's Marcus. I'm 31, I work from home doing freelance graphic design, and my idea of excitement is a quiet morning coffee on my porch while answering emails, which was fine until a cat wandered into my life and turned everything upside down. He showed up one rainy evening, orange fur, lopsided ear, the face of someone who'd seen things. I tossed him a piece of sardine from my sandwich. That was my first mistake. He returned the next day and brought company. First it was 2 more, then 5. Then suddenly I had a whole crowd. Tuxedos, tabbies, one-eyed rogues, even a chonky gray cat I named Meatball, who waddled like a bowling ball with paws. It was a whole cat community, and they'd unanimously decided my porch was the place to be. I didn't mind. In fact, I kind of liked it. They had personality, they had boundaries, and most importantly, they didn't ask dumb questions during work calls. So yeah, I started feeding them. Not fancy stuff, just kibble, the occasional shredded chicken, and whatever leftovers I didn't mind sharing. They were respectful, chill, good vibes only. And then Karen saw them. Karen lives across the street, late 50s, platinum bob, always wearing pastel tennis skirts and sunglasses that look permanently glued to her forehead. She walks a white Pomeranian named Sprinkles that wears more designer than I do. Karen isn't just a neighbor. She's the kind of neighbor who reports you for putting your recycling bin out too early. Self-appointed HOA enforcer, collector of grievances, patron saint of passive-aggressive notes. We've never had a real conversation, just a few strained nods and one awkward moment where she tried to hand me a flyer about keeping our neighborhood clean, which I politely declined because I was literally in the middle of vacuuming my car. But apparently nothing triggers Karen quite like the sight of multiple cats sitting calmly on a porch, minding their own business. The first time she saw them, she froze, like she was witnessing a crime in progress. Her eyes scanned the scene. Orange Boy licking his paw on the rail, Meatball sprawled like a rug, and Princess, a sassy black and white fluff ball with one blue eye and a resting diva face, grooming herself in my flower bed. Karen made a sound, not quite a gasp, more like a sharp inhale mixed with judgment. Then she dragged Sprinkles away like she was fleeing the scene of a felony. 2 days later, I found it taped to my mailbox. Dear neighbor, please refrain from feeding stray animals. This attracts pests and encourages dangerous behavior. We must uphold the safety and image of our community. Thank you for your cooperation. A concerned resident. No signature. No contact info. Just a font that screamed, Times New passive-aggressive. I chuckled, crumpled the note, and dropped it in the recycling bin. I mean, come on. These cats weren't dangerous. They were practically staff members. Orange Boy greeted the mailman every morning. Meatball once escorted a toddler back to their mom after they tripped on the sidewalk. Plus, I'd already posted a few casual videos of the crew on TikTok. Just little clips. The gang lounging in formation like cat-shaped gargoyles. Princess pushing my plant off the railing in slow motion. Meatball getting stuck in a flower pot. He was fine and dramatically offended. The comments were hilarious. This is the kind of porch I want to be invited to. I would die for Meatball. Princess is my spirit animal. People were starting to follow me just to see the daily cat antics. One video cracked 100K views. Not viral, but still. I didn't think much of it until the orange cat changed everything. One morning while I was refilling the water bowl, a new cat appeared. Tall, fluffy, silver fur that looked brushed by angels, a perfectly symmetrical face and green eyes that felt famous. She walked right onto my porch, plopped down next to Princess like she owned the place, and stared at me like she was waiting for a photo shoot. She wore a glittery pink collar with a tag that read, Celeste. I paused. That name sounded familiar. Like, famous cat on the internet, familiar. I pulled out my phone, opened TikTok, and typed in Celeste cat. Boom! There she was, 4.3 million followers, brand deals with a premium pet food company, her own line of collars, a literal cat model with a fan base. And now she was on my porch, lounging in the sun like she was on a paid break. Apparently, she had gone missing 2 weeks ago during a campaign shoot across town. Her owners posted emotional videos. Please help bring our Celeste home. There was a hashtag, candlelight tributes. And here she was, drinking from Meatball's bowl like she belonged here all along. That day, I uploaded a clip of Celeste being swarmed by the other cats like she was Beyoncé at brunch. The caption, I think one of my strays is a celebrity? It hit 1 million views in 24 hours. People were tagging her official account. Someone made a side-by-side video of her last commercial and her now chilling with Meatball. The comments exploded. She left the luxury for the real ones, dumber. Queen Celeste got tired of influencer life and found the chill porch she deserves. You better treat her like royalty, bro. Celeste's owners even messaged me. They were overjoyed she was safe. They thanked me. They asked if she could keep visiting, since she seemed so happy here. Apparently, she'd always been a little fussy with lights and cameras. I think she just wanted to be a cat, her owner said. I agreed. Celeste became a permanent part of the porch gang. And I became the accidental caretaker of the chillest cat commune on the internet. But not everyone was thrilled. It happened on a Sunday. Birds were chirping, cats were loafing. I was sipping iced coffee while Meatball tried and failed to squeeze under a lawn chair. Then Karen stormed across the street like a pastel tornado. I've had enough, she snapped, holding up her phone like a weapon. I've reported you to the HOA, the city if necessary. Morning to you too, I said, blinking. Do you even realize how many wild animals are on your property? I gestured at Celeste, who was currently curled up on a cushion, paw over her eyes like she couldn't deal with the drama. She's technically a celebrity. I don't care if she's the Queen of England, Karen hissed. You're running a feral cat farm, and I'm putting a stop to it. That's when I noticed her phone was recording. She pointed it at Celeste and said, let's show the internet what kind of chaos lives on Cedar Street. Then, and I swear I'm not making this up, Celeste stretched, walked over, and flopped against Karen's leg, purring loudly. Karen, stunned, bent down and picked her up, still recording. Ah, she cooed, completely forgetting her outrage. Aren't you just a pretty little... I uploaded the video within the hour. Karen reports me for feeding stray cats, then cuddles with TikTok's most famous cat. The internet lost its mind. Part 2, Karen's discovery, her internet meltdown, and the HOA escalation. The video blew up overnight. I went to bed with maybe 6,000 views. By 9 a.m., it had cracked 1.4 million. By lunch, it was all over TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram Reels. The audio, Karen's high-pitched, aren't you just a pretty little, right before Celeste sneezed in her face, got used in over 12,000 remixes within a day. People layered it with dubstep, slowed it down to emotional piano music, even made it a duet with a British guy narrating like it was a nature documentary. One user uploaded an edit that cut between Karen yelling about feral cat farms and Celeste licking her own butt. Instant classic. Another user made a t-shirt mock-up. Front, a cartoon of Karen holding Celeste like Simba. Back, I reported the cat guy and ended up on TikTok. And still, somehow, Karen didn't know yet. I saw her that afternoon watering her roses with the same usual death glare she reserved for trash bins left out too long. Her phone buzzed a few times. She glanced at it, then huffed like someone was interrupting her schedule. Celeste was lounging at the end of my porch. When Karen saw her, she pointed and shouted, "That one! That's the ringleader!" Celeste rolled over and farted gently. Karen gasped, clutched her chest, and muttered something about ungrateful mongrels. I stayed calm, gave her a casual wave, and said, "You're trending, by the way." She blinked. "What?" "Online, TikTok, you and Celeste. It's a hit." She stared at me like I told her she was adopted. "I don't do TikTok," she snapped. "I'm a grown woman." "Well," I said, sipping my coffee, "you're a grown woman with 3.2 million views and a rapidly growing meme fan base. That's slander. Karen, you posted it yourself. You filmed the whole thing." She stomped off so fast that Sprinkles couldn't keep up. That same evening, I received a letter folded in a cheap plastic sleeve taped to my door. It read, "Notice of formal investigation. Dear Mr. Marcus, it has come to our attention, due to multiple reports and recent public videos, that you are feeding and harboring stray animals on your property. This is considered a violation of HOA Policy Section 4B, Unregistered Pets and Potential Nuisance Animals. You are hereby advised to cease all feeding activity and remove any structures or setups, i.e., bowls, beds, etc., associated with feral animals. Failure to comply may result in fines. HOA Compliance Committee, Vice Chair Karen E. Simmons." Of course, she made herself the vice chair of the same committee she probably invented this morning. I posted a photo of the letter online with the caption, "The HOA sent me a cease and desist over my porch cats. I think Karen is trying to union bust them." The internet ate it up. Comments rolled in. "Let the cats unionize. Where do we send dues? I'd rather follow the cat cult than my HOA TBH. I hereby elect Princess Celeste as president of the Suburban Resistance." Even funnier, someone from a nearby city neighborhood, who I didn't even know, replied with, "Hey, is your Karen the same one who yelled at a kid for skateboarding in socks last year?" Apparently, Karen had a reputation, and now the world was learning it. I thought the story couldn't go any further. I was wrong, because the next morning I got a message on TikTok. Verified account, blue check, bio, streaming platform, 209 million subscribers. Netflix. "Hey Marcus, love your Porch Cat series. Any interest in being part of a docu-series we're filming called Meow, the Rise of Cat Culture? We'd love to feature Celeste's story and your role in her discovery." I stared at the screen. Netflix. Wanted. The Porch Cats. I replied with, "Yes, obviously, but also LOL. Is this real life?" They sent a call sheet, a shoot schedule, asked if they could come by next week. Karen was going to explode. Karen finally snapped. She posted a 4-paragraph rant to the community Facebook group titled, "Reclaiming Our Neighborhood." It started with, "Our once peaceful street has been infested by animals and internet fame chasers." Then continued, "I warned our community about the dangers of letting the digital world invade our homes, and now I've been turned into some sort of online joke without my permission." Followed by, "These cats are not cute. They are unlicensed, undisciplined, and encourage unsanitary conditions." And finished with a flourish, "I will not be silenced. I will not be manipulated. And I will not let a bunch of hairballs and hashtaggers ruin our values." The post lasted 43 minutes before the admin deleted it. Luckily, I screenshotted the whole thing. TikTok got a hold of it and edited it into a dramatic monologue. The soundtrack? Les Miserables. From that point on, the internet didn't just love the cats. They were invested in the Karen storyline. A fan created a parody TikTok account pretending to be Karen called HOA Karen, complete with updates like, "Day 12. I told Sprinkles to pee on Marcus's hydrangeas. She peed on my leg. We are not speaking." Others made a fake trailer. "This summer, one woman, one HOA, one legendary cat, and a porch that started a revolution." Tagline, "Whiskers and Wrath," based on a true story. Even I couldn't keep up with it all. My follower count passed 300K. Celeste's went back up to 4.5 million. A brand offered to send me free gourmet cat food for the whole porch crew. And still, Karen refused to back down. The following week, Karen didn't yell. She didn't send letters, she just watched. From behind curtains, from across the street, from her second-floor window with binoculars. I wasn't joking. I saw the glint of glass one day while refilling the water bowl and waved. The curtain snapped shut so fast I swear I heard it yelp. And then, the cats started disappearing. Meatball didn't show up for 2 days. Patchy went missing. Celeste was still there, but warier, twitchy. I knew something was up, and I had a horrible feeling that Karen was behind it, so I installed a camera. What I caught on footage would break the internet and change everything. I checked the porch security cam footage like a dad who just discovered Ring doorbell drama. I expected to see raccoons, maybe a nosy opossum. What I didn't expect, Karen, in the middle of the night, in full sweats, wearing a hoodie like she thought she was in a mission, Impossible reboot, crawling across my lawn with a net. Yes, a literal pet store fish net. She tossed it like she was catching Pokemon and caught Patchy. The video showed her huffing, stuffing Patchy into a pet carrier, whispering, "Sorry, sweetie. It's for your own good," and hustling away like a cartoon villain. I stared at the screen in silence. Then I did what any normal citizen of the internet would do. I posted it. Caption: Karen caught cat napping? My porch security cam caught her snatching one of the cats. What? It went viral in 6 hours. Comments exploded. Did she really just kidnap Patchy? This woman needs a hobby or a therapist. Bro, this is Netflix worthy. Wait, are they filming yet? Someone edited dramatic music over the clip and called it Operation Whisker Sweep. The neighborhood Facebook group imploded. Someone screenshotted my video and posted it with, "Has anyone else seen this? Are we safe from Karen?" Responses rolled in. "That's my cat she took last month. I thought he ran away. She threatened to relocate a cat that napped on my grill. Should I be concerned?" I knew she was weird, but this is next-level villainy. The group divided into two camps. Team Porch Cats, supportive neighbors, teens from the local high school, random internet users who had joined just to troll. Team HOA Karen, consisting mostly of Karen, and one guy named Ted who admitted he doesn't like fur on his lawn chairs. Karen, ever bold, doubled down in the thread. "Cats are not property. You can't steal what doesn't belong to anyone. I was protecting the neighborhood." A user replied, "They belong to our hearts, Karen. Now give Patchy back." Channel 9 News showed up, again. This time they weren't here for a feel-good cat story. They wanted answers. They interviewed me on the porch with Celeste on my lap and Meatball sitting directly in front of the camera like a feline security guard. "Did you know Karen was taking cats from your property?" the reporter asked. "Nope," I said, "and neither did the cats, especially Patchy." "Where do you think she's taking them?" "I don't know, but if she has a secret underground lair filled with catnip and HOA flyers, I wouldn't be shocked." Cut to Karen across the street, waving her arms like she was signaling an airplane. "She's making herself look suspicious," the reporter muttered. "She is suspicious," I said. "She wears a visor at night." TikTok detectives went to work. They tracked down her full name, Karen Elizabeth Simmons, and discovered she once tried to ban bird feeders from the neighborhood because she claimed they were inviting avian aggression. A TikTok true crime-style account stitched my footage into a full expose titled, "The Woman Who Tried to Cancel Cats." It included dramatic voiceovers, historical Karen quotes from HOA newsletters, a map showing where each porch cat was last seen. It ended with, "And she would have gotten away with it too, if it weren't for that damn security cam." 12.7 million views. Karen was now trending under Nashish catnapping, Karen and HOA Karen unhinged. One comment, "She's one sunset away from being a Disney villain." Another, "I'd pay $12.99 a month to watch this unfold in real time." 2 days later, a flyer appeared in every mailbox. Urgent, HOA meeting. This Thursday at 6 p.m. Discussion topic, online harassment, neighborhood reputation, and animal control violations. I showed up early. Karen showed up with a 3-ring binder, color-coded, tabbed, labeled evidence. The community center was packed. Even people who never attend HOA meetings were there, including the local barista, a dad holding a cat calendar, and 3 teens in homemade Team Celeste hoodies. Karen stood, cleared her throat, and launched into her speech. "It has come to my attention that our community is being dragged across the internet by lies, cat sympathizers, and clickbait opportunists." Someone in the back coughed. "You mean you?" Karen's eyes flared. "I did what needed to be done. Those cats were menacing, lurking, littering, undermining our landscaping standards." "Karen," someone else asked gently, "did you really take Patchy?" Her lips tightened. "I relocated him, for his safety." "And where is he now?" Silence. "Karen, where is the cat?" Dead silence, until the doors opened, and Patchy walked in, followed by Ava, the high schooler from 2 houses down, who said, "Found him behind Karen's shed, in a hamster cage, eating dry pasta." Everyone gasped. Patchy meowed, loud, dramatic, triumphant. Karen turned redder than her binder tabs. The HOA president, an old retired dentist named Frank, removed his glasses and said, "Karen, please sit down." After the HOA meeting bombshell, Patchy was returned to his rightful porch throne, now treated with extra reverence as the cat who escaped the cage. Ava told everyone about the hamster enclosure behind Karen's shed, complete with dry spaghetti, no water bowl, and a sad rubber ball like she thought cats played fetch. TikTok's response? Swift and brutal. The free Patchy trended for 3 days. Someone posted a video of a kid crying tears of joy next to Patchy's photo set to Sarah McLachlan's Angel. A GoFundMe called Justice for Porch Cats Legal Fund raised $12,300 in 24 hours. Despite me saying we didn't need it, they donated it to a local animal shelter anyway. Karen, she went quiet for a day, which was suspicious. Too quiet. The silence didn't last. The next morning I woke up to find that all the cat food bowls were gone. The porch was clean. Too clean, like pressure washed. Even the towel I kept for Celeste's naps was missing. A pink sign was zip-tied to my porch rail. This is not a pet sanctuary. Stop encouraging animal dependency. Your responsible neighbor. I blinked. I blinked again. Then I checked the security footage. It was Karen. Again. 1:41 a.m. Armed with a trash bag, gloves, and a determined scowl, she cleared the entire porch like she was erasing a crime scene. She even whispered to herself. I posted a 30-second clip titled, "Karen's 2 a.m. Porch Purge. She's going full-on villain." 8.4 million views. My favorite comment. I love how she sneaks around like the cats haven't seen her do this 4 times already. But I'd had enough. This wasn't funny anymore. It was harassment. I made a call. 2 days later, animal control showed up at Karen's house, not mine. Why? Because after people saw the hamster cage set up for Patchy, multiple neighbors filed official complaints. The officers told me they received 3 anonymous tips and 11 direct reports. I watched from my porch as the officers knocked on Karen's door. She answered in a bathrobe, holding sprinkles. Her face paled when she saw the logo on the truck. The conversation was short, quiet. But by the time the officers left, Karen looked like someone had just repossessed her Range Rover and told her Starbucks had stopped making pumpkin spice. That same day, HOA President Frank sent a message to the neighborhood mailing list. In light of recent events, the HOA board would like to remind residents that removing or interfering with pets, stray or otherwise, may violate local ordinances. All actions will be reviewed by the board and possibly law enforcement. Translation: Karen, stop kidnapping cats. That week, a local station ran a story titled, "Neighborhood Cat Drama Goes Viral. TikTok, Celebrities, and One Unhappy Neighbor." They interviewed me. Celeste posed in the background like a professional. Then, to everyone's surprise, Karen agreed to do her own interview. Bad move. She sat stiffly on a wicker chair in her rose garden, wearing pearls and sipping water like she was in a royal court. Her quote, "I don't hate cats, I just don't believe they belong on porches, or sidewalks, or neighborhoods, or frankly, society at large. Cue the internet. This is why aliens won't talk to us." Celeste just filed a cease and desist against this woman's energy. New Disney villain unlocked, Lady Hairball. But Karen wasn't done. She turned to the camera, deadly serious, and said, "I am calling on all responsible homeowners to report cat feeders in their neighborhoods. Together, we can stop the porch pet problem." And with that, she created her own hashtag. Stop Porch Pets. TikTok immediately hijacked it. Thousands of cat owners posted videos of their pets lounging dramatically on porches, balconies, car roofs, literal horses, all tagged with "Darn Stop Porch Pets." Someone made a remix with Karen's voice layered over marching band drums and labeled it "The Rise of the Fluff Army." Another made an animated short of Karen declaring war on a kingdom of cats. We were now living in a meme reality. Amid all this, the Netflix crew finally arrived. They were polite, professional, obsessed with Celeste. "She's a natural," the director whispered as Celeste slow blinked at the camera. They interviewed me, Ava, 2 of the Porch Cat's regular fans, and even Frank from the HOA, who admitted on camera, "She scares me more than the IRS, but even I think Karen needs to chill." The footage was gold. Karen, of course, stormed over halfway through filming. Again. "You don't have my permission to film my street," she screamed at the crew. "We're standing on public sidewalk," the producer replied, calm as a monk. "And you've been featured in over 50 viral videos already." Karen froze. Someone whispered, "She's buffering." Then she did something no one saw coming. She snatched the boom mic, like ripped it out of the guy's hands and threw it onto my lawn. "You're all complicit," she screeched. Netflix rolled with it. They kept filming. Sound guys scattered like cats. "Celeste?" She yawned, then jumped onto the boom mic and sat on it. Screenshot of the moment went viral before the crew even left. 2 days later, Karen went door to door with a petition. Her goal? Ban all stray animal feeding. Force animal control to remove porch cats. Reclaim the street. Out of 36 homes, she got 3 signatures. One was her own. One was Ted, of course. The third? Ted's 7-year-old nephew, who thought it was a sign-up sheet for free pizza. The rest refused, or filmed it. My neighbor Yolanda offered Karen a catnip candle and asked if she'd like to just relax and breathe deeply. Karen stormed off. That evening, she was seen standing in her front yard, staring at my porch with binoculars, muttering what appeared to be, "This isn't over." Little did she know, and she was right, because the next morning, Celeste's influencer parents, yes, the real ones, arrived on the street. And they weren't just here to say thanks. They brought lawyers and contracts and a plan. Part 3, Karen's stand. They arrived in a black Tesla with a license plate that read WH1SKRS. Out stepped Chad and Marissa, Celeste's official owners and feline famous influencers, with matching sunglasses, matching smiles, and a tiny dog in a baby sling that barked once, then passed out from the effort. They were a lot, but polite, stylish, clearly very rich. "Hi, Marcus," Marissa beamed, holding out a hand with freshly painted cat paw nails. "Thank you so much for taking care of Celeste, or as the internet calls her, Princess Porch Queen." Chad nodded. "She's thriving here, so much that we want to pivot." "Pivot?" I asked, trying to ignore Celeste casually licking her leg like this was no big deal. "We want to base her next brand chapter around her porch life," Marissa explained. "We're thinking Celeste Unleashed, focused on natural vibes, no lights, no pressure, just being her majestic self." "On my porch?" "Exactly. With you. You're authentic. The cats love you. It's perfect." "Oh, and we brought lawyers," Chad added, like that was normal. The lawyer, a calm woman named Heather with gold-rimmed glasses and a folder labeled Karen Action Plan, approached my porch and said, "We're here to protect Celeste's brand and safety. We believe your neighbor, Mrs. Simmons, has caused reputational and emotional damage." "To the cat?" I asked. "To everyone, but mostly to Celeste, and you by extension." She handed me a copy of the legal letter. There was glitter in the envelope, literal gold glitter. The best part? They were filing an injunction against Karen for unauthorized use of Celeste's image. Apparently, in one of Karen's viral interviews, the now infamous "I don't hate cats, I just don't think they belong in neighborhoods" segment, she had referred to Celeste as that fluff demon. That was enough for Heather to open a whole case of public defamation. "And," Heather added, "we'll be requesting a restraining order from the cat." I knew it was only a matter of time before she found out. And she did, during a live taping of Netflix's Porch documentary. She was trimming her roses when Marissa casually mentioned the lawsuit to the producer. Karen, who had been eavesdropping over her fence, dropped her clippers. She marched across the street in a state of full meltdown. "You are suing me? For what? Touching a cat?" "You touched her, insulted her, stalked her, and imprisoned one of her friends," Marissa said calmly. "I saved that cat. You fed him dry spaghetti," I reminded her. Karen's face turned purple. She turned to the Netflix cameras. "You're going to regret making me the villain in this story." The camera guy didn't blink. "Ma'am, you literally tackled our boom mic." That night, Twitter exploded with new hashtags. Nijuwarn Karen vs. Cats. Tudi Shamrishkadiner Porch Justice. Tudi Ever Iskinsher Unhand the Whisker. Even news outlets outside the U.S. started picking up the story. A UK headline, American woman sued by influencer, cat's team after porch drama escalates. A Canadian radio host called it the greatest story of neighborhood nonsense ever told. A parody Twitter account pretending to be Celeste tweeted, "I fear no human, but I fear Karen with a garden hose." Another emergency HOA meeting was called. This time, it was packed. News crews, local reporters, Netflix. People brought popcorn. Karen came in wearing sunglasses indoors and a t-shirt that said, "I stand for law and lawn." I wore a shirt a fan had sent me. "Celeste is my spirit animal." The first 5 minutes were chaos. Karen tried to make a speech. Frank, the HOA president, tried to gavel her into silence. A cat wandered in through the open door and jumped on the table like it had business to conduct. Frank sighed and said, "Honestly, just let the cat speak. It makes more sense." A neighbor stood and said, "Karen, we've all had enough. You've been caught trespassing, lying, and dragging our street through national media." Karen pointed at me. "He made me famous against my will." "You literally posted the video," I reminded her. "And you," she snapped at Marissa, "are enabling this insanity." "At Karen," Marissa said coolly. "You yelled at a cat, and the internet simply responded." The HOA finally moved to an official vote. Agenda item, whether to enact a neighborhood ordinance banning the feeding of non-licensed pets. Karen called it the Feral Containment Act. It failed 32-2. Only Karen and Ted voted yes. Ted looked apologetic afterward and said, "Honestly, I just don't like fur on my grill." The porch erupted in applause. Even Frank clapped. Karen stormed out without a word, sunglasses slipping down her nose. Celeste watched from my porch, then slowly, smugly, knocked over Karen's empty planter. 3 days after losing the HOA vote, Karen did the unthinkable. She held a press conference in her own front yard. She set up a plastic folding table, placed a sad bouquet of fake roses on it, and taped a hand-drawn sign to the front that read, "Community Truth Briefing, Reclaiming Our Values." She even had a podium. Well, it was a stacked pile of gardening books with a binder on top, but still, a podium. Sprinkles sat on a lawn chair beside her, wearing a tiny red bow tie, looking mildly terrified. Netflix's crew wasn't even filming that day, but they showed up. So did 3 local news vans, a high school journalism student named Quinn, and several of my neighbors holding folding chairs and nacho like it was an outdoor movie night. I brought Celeste in a carrier just to make Karen sweat. Karen cleared her throat and began reading from prepared notes. "Today I stand before you as a woman wrongfully portrayed, a woman slandered, mocked, and memed beyond recognition." Someone coughed. A kid giggled. "I never hated cats. I merely wish to contain the chaos, to preserve our streets from feral mayhem." She flipped the page dramatically. "I believe in order, in lawn care, in HOA standards, in leashes." Sprinkles barked once in confusion. Karen slammed her fist on the fake roses. "I was never the villain." At that exact moment, Celeste let out a long, drawn-out meow from her carrier. It echoed. Karen froze, locked eyes with the carrier, then muttered something about demonic timing and feline sabotage. The press conference was live-streamed. TikTok clipped it within minutes. YouTube had edits within the hour. One TikToker added captions that read, "Karen, 2025, I am not the villain." Meanwhile, Celeste, meow of judgment. Memes poured in. Karen holding a fist in the air. "Power to the porches." Sprinkles photoshopped into a courtroom scene looking exhausted. "I was never the villain" mugs, posters, keychains. Even worse, Karen became a soundbite. Her quote was auto-tuned into a song called "Not the Villain" by a viral remix DJ. Within a day, it hit Spotify's trending page. And I just kept feeding the cats. According to my very reliable source, Ava, the teen genius down the street, Karen had launched what she called Operation Silence the Porch. Her plan? Submit a petition to the city council demanding the neighborhood be declared a no-open feeding zone, cite public health risks, and argue that my porch had become a high-traffic attraction in violation of zoning codes. She even created a fake website titled StopThePorch.net, featuring alarming stock photos of hissing cats and text like, "What happens when your toddler steps in a hairball? The Rise of Porch Parasites. Is your family safe? It was all clearly written by Karen, but the internet didn't care. They found it. They mocked it. Hard. The comment section of the site was bombarded with fake testimonials like, "My son was blessed by the porch cats and now speaks fluent meow. I used to hate Joy, but then Celeste changed my life. I tried to silence the porch. The porch silenced me. Just when I thought things couldn't get any more surreal, I got an email from an actual celebrity, Tabitha Lane, an actress and animal rights advocate known for starring in 3 rom-coms and that detective series where she solves crimes with a parrot. She DM'd me. "Hi, Marcus. Huge fan of Celeste. Would love to swing by, film some content, and bring a donation check for your local shelter. Maybe it'll help cool the Karen situation." I sure am. I stared at the screen for 5 minutes, unsure if I was hallucinating. The next day, Tabitha Lane showed up, with her publicist and 2 assistants, and a huge bag of grain-free cat treats. Karen stood across the street, mouth agape, clutching sprinkles like she'd seen a ghost wearing a red carpet gown. Tabitha waved at me, then crossed the street. To Karen. "Hi, you must be Karen. I heard you're passionate about the community. That's so cute." Karen blinked. Yes I am. I care very deeply." "That's great. I'd love to invite you to participate in a pet wellness campaign we're filming. It promotes kindness, compassion, and not kidnapping cats." Karen turned beet red. "I didn't kidnap anything," she snapped. Tabitha raised an eyebrow. "Didn't you stuff one into a cage and feed it spaghetti?" Karen inhaled sharply. "That's taken out of context. You said it yourself in the HOA meeting." Karen stared, then turned, then walked away. Again, sprinkles peed on her shoe. Netflix had been filming for weeks, but the day Tabitha showed up, that was gold. They got footage of her feeding Meatball, petting Celeste, and doing a mock interview with Princess Whiskers, who promptly swatted the boom mic like a diva. Then, like a miracle, they caught it on camera. Karen slowly removing her "I stand for law and lawn" yard sign. Wordlessly, grumpily, while looking over her shoulder. It was the closest thing to an apology we'd ever get. That evening, I got a call from Marissa. "Netflix is wrapping next week," she said, "but we've been talking, and we'd love to make this official." "Make what official?" "Celeste wants to make your porch her permanent retreat. We'll handle all the paperwork, vet care, sponsorships, everything. You just keep being you." I looked down at Celeste, who was curled up in a sunbeam on the railing, blinking at me with that smug, perfect face. "Well," I said, "I guess we have a deal." After Celeste's official move-in and Tabitha Lane's viral appearance, our street became kind of a landmark. Local people began driving by just to see the porch. Some left cat treats. Others took selfies. One elderly woman from 2 towns over brought homemade tuna cookies and whispered to Celeste, "You saved me." I don't know how. I didn't ask. Karen, meanwhile, cracking, visibly. She stopped wearing pastels, started muttering to herself while watering her already dead roses. Her once pristine lawn developed a strange patch of overgrown weeds that looked vaguely like the word "why." One morning, I caught her throwing breadcrumbs on my driveway. Not for birds, for ants. Then on a gray Thursday morning, it happened. Karen put up a giant wooden sign in her yard that read, "Warning, this is not a zoo. These cats are not licensed. Celebrity does not equal safety." She also erected a scarecrow, dressed like me. Same hoodie, same coffee mug, sunglasses taped on, a fake beard. It held a sign that said, "I feed strangers cats and you should be worried." Even Sprinkles seemed uncomfortable. Within hours, the porch was packed with people filming. Karen came out screaming, "No filming! This is a private street!" A teen shouted back, "You went on the news, lady!" Karen lunged at someone's phone. That video, 15.6 million views. 2 days later, it wasn't just TikTok anymore. It was Good Morning America. It was BuzzFeed, Vice, even the Washington Post. They all wanted the story, how one cat, one porch, and one very determined woman turned a neighborhood into a viral battleground. They called it the Great Porch War. I got interview requests from podcasts, talk shows, even a dating app that wanted to do a Cats Over Karens promo. featuring me and Celeste. My favorite email came from a publisher asking, "Would you consider writing a memoir about this?" Karen? She barricaded herself indoors, shut her blinds, took down the scarecrow, even stopped posting in the Facebook group, which was now renamed Celeste's Neighborhood Watch. Karen's anti-cat petition somehow made its way to the city council. She showed up wearing a beige suit and holding a manila folder labeled Exhibit A, the felines. I also showed up, invited by the city, believe it or not, to represent the other side. Netflix came too. With cameras, it was glorious. Karen opened with, "I come to you today as a victim of fur, of internet defamation, and of porch-based propaganda." The counselors exchanged confused looks. "I've endured sleepless nights, legal threats, public ridicule, all because I asked for a little order." Then she whipped out a PowerPoint. Slide 1, a blurry photo of me holding a can of tuna. Slide 2, Celeste licking her paw, captioned Suspect Number 1. Slide 3, a fake graph titled Cat-Related Decline in Morality. When it was my turn, I simply showed a 20-second montage of Celeste rescuing Patchy, Meatball loafing on a cushion, and Karen yelling, "I am not the villain," while wearing mismatched shoes. The crowd applauded. The council voted unanimously. No new ordinance. Porch cats are welcome. Karen slumped in her seat. One of the council members handed her a Team Celeste sticker on the way out. The day Netflix finished filming, they threw a little celebration in front of my house. A food truck, a tiny stage, a banner that read, "Thank you for letting us tell the tale of the tale." Celeste got her own chair. Frank, the HOA president, showed up in a full tuxedo and declared, "As of today, the porch is an honorary historical landmark." Karen peeked through her blinds and immediately slammed them shut when she saw Tabitha Lane hugging Celeste and whispering, "You saved the world, tiny queen." The next morning, a plain white envelope appeared in my mailbox. No glitter, no note, just one sentence. Typed, "I respectfully request no further interaction with your porch or its residents." Signed, Karen E. Simmons. Attached, a $5 gift card to Petco. I hung it on the fridge, right next to a picture of Celeste wearing sunglasses and sitting on the HOA sign like she'd claimed it. Which, let's be honest, she had. It dropped without warning. One Thursday morning, people woke up to the trailer for The Porch, Cats, Chaos, and Karen, a Netflix original docuseries Q. Dramatic voiceover. In a quiet suburb, one man fed a stray cat, and the neighborhood lost its mind. Quick cuts followed. Celeste walking in slow motion through a garden, Karen pointing at the camera yelling, "You can't film me!" Me holding Meatball like a newborn. Patchy being dramatically rescued. Karen's "I am not the villain" quote echoed 4 times over swelling violin music. Final shot, Celeste sitting on my porch railing, blinking at the camera as the narrator whispers, "Sometimes it takes one paw to tip the balance." Release date, next Friday. I braced myself. Karen didn't just melt down this time. She volcanoed. She marched over with a DVD in hand, labeled My Side of the Story. Yes, she burned a personal documentary to DVD and handed it to me like she was offering exclusive evidence to the FBI. "I demand you watch this before you continue spreading the lies," she said. "I haven't posted anything in weeks." She narrowed her eyes. "It's the vibe you post." I mean, fair. I never watched the DVD, but I did put it on display next to the "I respectfully request no further interaction" letter and the Petco gift card. On release night, the neighborhood threw a full-blown Netflix watch party. We set up a projector on the lawn. Someone brought a popcorn machine. Ava designed custom t-shirts with a cartoon Celeste on the front and Porch Life Forever on the back. Frank from the HOA grilled hot dogs. Tabitha Lane sent a video message. "To the bravest porch on the planet and the fluffiest resistance I've ever seen. Much love." Karen? She stayed inside. Curtains drawn, porch dark. Sprinkles was seen peeking out from behind a window, blinking slowly like she was asking for political asylum. The docuseries shot straight to the #1 spot on Netflix globally. It got reviewed by Rolling Stone, The Guardian, even The New Yorker. Quotes from critics: "It's Tiger King meets Mr. Rogers. but with cats and one truly unhinged neighbor. A brilliant examination of viral culture, suburban politics, and one porch's rise to legendary status. Celeste deserves an Emmy. Celebrities started posting photos in Celeste merch. The original soundbite, Karen yelling, "I am not the villain," was now a ringtone. My own dentist had it on her phone. And yes, there was fan fiction. A lot of fan fiction. Despite everything, Karen got what she always claimed she didn't want. Fame. An influencer, ironically, one who hated cats, invited her to appear on a podcast called The Villain Edit. She declined. Twice. But eventually someone offered her a paid appearance at a reality TV panel about unintended viral infamy. She took it. A clip of her awkwardly sipping iced tea and muttering, "It was never about the cats," got 4.7 million views in one day. Even Karen couldn't resist. She launched a blog, Karen Unfiltered, where she wrote essays with titles like Porch Trauma and Internet Fame, The Downside of Memes, Meowgate, My Side, Bafirmain, I Still Stand for Law and Order. She even got invited to a panel on restorative HOA justice. I'm not kidding. A few weeks after the documentary aired, I received an invitation in the mail. It was from South by Southwest. They were hosting a panel on viral culture and pet influencers, and they wanted me and Celeste to attend as keynote guests. Celeste, obviously, was already booked for 3 red carpet appearances, 2 sponsored TikToks, and 1 First Runway collab. I told them I'd check her schedule. But yes, we accepted. Karen heard about it when the HOA newsletter listed me as local honorary cultural contributor. She didn't say anything, but she did walk across the street the next day and leave a single lemon tart on my porch with a post-it that said, "Peace offering?" I gave it to Meatball. He sniffed it, licked it once, and walked away dramatically. I think we all understood the message. Tomorrow, part 4. For the first time in months, the neighborhood felt quiet. The chaos had passed. The porch cats were lounging again. Celeste had reclaimed her favorite sunbeam by the hibiscus pot, while Meatball snored in his custom plush bed, a gift from Netflix, monogrammed and everything. No cameras, no TikTokers camping out, no teenagers doing the Celeste hand gesture dance. Just me, my coffee, and a peaceful breeze that carried a faint scent of victory or tuna. Probably both. Karen hadn't been seen in 4 days. Some said she went on a digital detox. Others claimed she was meditating in her garage under a weighted blanket, listening to whale sounds. Honestly, I hoped she was okay, but more importantly, I hoped she'd learned something. That morning, I found another envelope in my mailbox, but this one was different. Not typed, not angry, not glitter-bombed. It was handwritten, folded neatly, no threats. Just a "to Marcus" from Karen. I opened it on the porch while Celeste peeked over my shoulder, like she could read. The note said, "Marcus, I've been thinking a lot. I still don't understand why the world decided to laugh at me. I still don't like cats. But I watched the documentary, and I realized something. You never tried to make me the villain. I did that all by myself. So I'm sorry. I was scared of the attention, scared of being irrelevant, scared of being forgotten. Turns out I made myself unforgettable, just not in the way I hoped. I don't expect forgiveness, but if there's ever a chance to not be enemies, I'd like that." Karen. I read it twice. Then I poured some extra food into the bowl near the fence, the one Patchy always claimed first, and whispered, "I think we'll be fine." 3 days later, Karen did something no one expected. She showed up. No visor, no clipboard, no attitude. Just a tray of brownies, homemade, with a small sign stuck in the middle that read, "Let's call a truce." I opened the door. Celeste trotted out first like she was inspecting a peace delegate. Karen took a breath and crouched down. Celeste approached slowly, cautiously, then rubbed against her leg and let out a soft purr. Karen exhaled like she'd been holding her breath since the HOA meeting. "She remembers you," I said. "Probably wants me to pay back emotional damages," Karen muttered. Then added, "I'd settle out of court for head pats." I laughed. It was the first time we'd laughed together. And just like that, the war was over. Following the documentary, my DMs were flooded. Cat toy companies, coffee brands, book agents or relationship were in Washington, t-shirt designers, A major app wanted me and Celeste to co-host a series about everyday porch wisdom. I turned most of them down, except for the coffee deal because priorities. But one offer stuck out. A small publisher pitched a cozy photo book idea titled Porch Cats, Stories from the Rail. Photos, short essays, cat bios, Celeste quotes. Let them eat kibble. The works. They even offered to donate part of the profits to local shelters. I said yes. The neighborhood book club chose it as their monthly pick before it was even printed. Karen, surprisingly, was the one who suggested hosting a launch party on her lawn. I offered my porch instead. She smiled. Fair. One quiet morning, months later, I sat on my porch with a cup of mint tea. Celeste curled on my lap, purring like a tiny engine. Karen passed by with sprinkles. She waved. I waved back. Behind her, a little girl, maybe 6, skipping beside her, holding a leash with a small orange kitten attached. New recruit, I called. Karen grinned. Sprinkles got a brother. This one doesn't scream when it rains. What's his name? The girl answered. His name's Mr. Tuna the Second. I froze, then smiled. Good name. Celeste opened one eye and gave a slow, approving blink. 6 months after everything, after the Netflix special, the chaos, the HOA battles, the memes, Celeste officially won the Golden Paw Award for Most Influential Cat of the Year. Yes, that's a real thing. Yes, there was a red carpet. Yes, she walked it, okay, strutted, in a custom-designed velvet cape and tiny gold boots she immediately kicked off. I didn't even go. Celeste went with her agent, a 24-year-old named Jared who wore a suit covered in cat faces. I watched it from my porch with Meatball snoring next to me and Princess Whiskers sharpening her claws on the railing. Celeste won. Obviously, the crowd stood and clapped. The announcer read her citation for uniting the internet, bringing down HOA tyranny, and proving once and for all that sometimes the quietest porch has the loudest story. A standing ovation followed. I swear Meatball shed a single tear. To everyone's shock, including hers, Karen leaned into her new public role, not as a villain, but as a reformed suburban peacekeeper. She started a podcast called Keep It Down with Karen, where she rants gently about HOA rules, offers unsolicited garden tips, and occasionally interviews people she once low-key feuded with. She even invited me once. I said yes. We sat across from each other in lawn chairs, sipping tea, microphones clipped to our shirts. So, Marcus, she said with a smirk, if you could go back and never feed that first cat, would you? I looked over at Celeste, lounging nearby, licking her paw with royal disinterest. Nope, I said. Not even a little. Karen nodded. Yeah, me neither. The porch itself, once a normal slab of wood with chipped paint and a suspicious spot from where Meatball once coughed up something that looked like a sock, became a tourist attraction. People came from out of state, sometimes out of the country. Some just wanted a selfie with the cushion Celeste used during the original viral clip. Others brought donations for the local shelter or just wanted to sit quietly with the cats. We added a little sign next to the steps that said, Welcome to the porch. Cats may judge you, but they mean well. Ava's little brother built a small shelf labeled Offerings, where people could leave treats, letters, fan art, or sparkly collars. Someone left a crocheted plush of Karen's I am not the villain moment. Even Karen laughed at that one. Just when I thought things had finally settled, a new stray showed up. Gray, scarred, missing part of one ear. Walked with a limp and had the eyes of a retired pirate. He stared at me for a full minute, then flopped dramatically onto the welcome mat. Celeste walked over, sniffed, head-butted him once, accepted. I named him Captain Meowgan. He never left. And every night, without fail, he parked himself on the top step like a sentry, a porch bouncer, a grumpy gatekeeper, our new guardian. I never meant to go viral. I never meant to start a movement. I just fed a hungry cat on a rainy day. And now I've got cats, cameras, and neighbors who wave instead of glare, a porch with more stories than most libraries, and a peaceful little corner of the world that somehow became an internet legend. I sit out here every evening, same coffee mug, same creaky chair, and listen to the purrs, the soft clatter of paws, and the distant sound of someone probably quoting Karen on TikTok again. Celeste curls beside me as always, and every now and then I hear a meow at the edge of the fence. A new arrival, another chapter. Because on this porch, the story never really ends. It just stretches, yawns, and takes a nap in the sun.